What's going on, Fandom fans? I'm Justin Thomas, and this is the first of many videos that'll be coming out in the next few weeks and months that will be covering a few shows that I'm going to recommend you binge watch. Whether you're having Game of Thrones withdrawals or just looking for something good to watch lately, I think this series is going to have you covered. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure to do that right now. So what we're going to be doing is just going over a few shows that I've found recently and recently binged myself and give the examples of why I think they're binge-worthy. I'll be relating these shows to other shows that you may have already watched, so you'll know if you like this certain show, you might enjoy the one I'm recommending, just to get a better idea for it. This will all be spoiler-free and kind of just me going at the camera here, unscripted. It's going to be good, and it's going to be fun. We get some good series, and there's actually a lot more great television out there right now than I even thought. So let's get into it, and this will be episode 1, and this is a binge-worthy. Peaky Blinders, the BBC period drama, which is also on Netflix. And we'll also be discussing what I liked about the show and what I didn't, pretty vaguely, since I don't want to actually give you guys any spoilers. I want you to go and watch it, enjoy it. But not only tell you to watch it, but I'm going to tell you how I recommend you watch it, at least. And what I mean by that is the best metaphor I can come up for is the rate of consumption that I recommend for these certain shows. I will be taking in the narrative structure, the pacing of the show, how many episodes it has in one season, how many seasons it has, how long are the episodes, and kind of partialing it out so you guys know how many episodes you might want to binge at once or give it a break, and so forth. And again, these are just my suggestions. They aren't something that obviously anybody has to do. So it's just me trying to help out. So let's jump into it. So we will be talking about, like I said, Peaky Blinders, which is a BBC period drama, and that's also on Netflix. It has the first 3 seasons, and the 4th season just premiered, I believe, last night. Now, I really love this series. I binged it last night. It is 6 episodes a season, for the first 2 at least. I have not looked at the 3rd. And it is beautifully, beautifully done. Now, this is a show that's by Stephen Knight, and I wasn't too familiar with him before, and he has done a wonderful, wonderful job with this series. This series, like I said, takes place in 1920s England. But more specifically, it takes place in 1920s post-World War I Birmingham, England. And Birmingham is more than just a backdrop or a place for our characters to inhabit and interact with each other. It's a character itself. The way that Knight portrays the city. Birmingham is very gritty, almost ominous at some points. It is definitely a product of the Industrial Revolution in England. Great job, first off, with the cinematography, and also with mixing the soundtrack with the actual sounds of the city. So you have the clashes and the clings of the factories and the beating and the workshops that are going right into your actual backdrop music. The intro is done by Red Right Hand, and the soundtrack is very, very interesting. It's very, very good. It has a lot of stuff from Jack White from White Stripes and White Stripes themselves, who did music just specifically for this show. And the way they make this gritty, gritty city, not only a character, but they make this industrial, just, it's a landscape that is just engulfed with factories. They make it look almost, at times, majestic. The artistic decisions, the little things they choose to do in the series are wonderful. You don't have to be a big film buff to even appreciate it. It just really adds to it. Like, if you like Sons of Anarchy, you're definitely going to like this show. If you like Boardwalk Empire, I feel like this could almost be like a spiritual successor, or even just like a brother or sister series. Like, this is just the other side of the pond, because it takes place during the same time. It deals with the same issues. This deals with soldiers coming back from World War I. And this deals with the way that different families, different people are dealing with their struggles. We see the rise of communism, Bolsheviks, fighting against the government that they fought for. They feel like they got a raw deal. World War I was quite a shit show for everybody involved, especially the British over in France. That's where our group of people are from. We have our main family of the Shelbys. We have the head of the family, who is played by Cillian Murphy. His name is Thomas Shelby in the actual show. Cillian you might know from 28 Days Later. He was in Batman Begins, Inception. Excellent actor, and he really holds his weight. Soldier that has just came back from World War I. And the Shelbys are part of this street gang, family, firm, whatever you want to call it. It was their gangsters over there, and they were called the Peaky Blinders. Now, there is some historical precedence for this. From the 1880s to the early 1900s, there was a street gang in Birmingham. I don't look too much into that, and I think it's just an inspiration. But But this circles around the Shelby family, and Killian plays the head of the family, like I said, but he is not the oldest. He has an older brother, but he is the smartest. So he comes back, and he is our classic anti-hero that you see in all of these great shows these days. Ever since Breaking Bad, everybody's got an anti-hero. But like I said, this isn't necessarily anything that's groundbreaking as far as like narrative goes, or the story. It's almost a story that we've seen quite a bit, actually, but in the way it's done, in the way it's mixed, sometimes you feel like you're watching Tarantino, sometimes you feel like you're watching Scorsese, sometimes you feel like you're watching Fincher. It's got all these just little tastes of greatness in it that make it great. And if you talk to any bartender or mixologist, for the fancy ones, they will tell you, you could have a lot of great ingredients and you could mix them together and still make a shit drink. It's about how you mix it. It's about what you put in and where you know to hold back, when you know to pour longer, where you know to just give it a splash. And it's definitely a well-mixed show. A slow stroll as far as pacing goes, but it's only 6 episodes a season, so I feel like it's pretty appropriate. And it deals with the different ways these soldiers are coming back. And the Shelby family is a crime family. They run rackets. They want to be legitimate, but they run rackets. Obviously, they offer protection, which, everybody pays them for protection, but it's kind of one of those things where they'll break your windows and then tell you need protection. So you're dealing with a crime family, and without giving anything away, you're dealing with this great story of these brothers and this family that's been torn apart from war, trying to come back and be normal again. And after World War I, especially where these soldiers were at, the Somme, which I'm not going to dive too deep into history, but it's still to date the worst battle in history, the highest death rate in one day. The event is dropped several times that Cillian Murphy's character, Thomas Shelby, has actually won medals for gallantry at the Somme and all that, but he threw him into the cut, into the river, like your average anti-hero. So they're struggling to fit back in society. They're doing it in different ways, obviously. They've got some issues, but like I said, without giving too much away, you have a heist at the very beginning where they get something that's very important and not something they were trying to steal. Now, this draws a lot of attention to this small little of the city where they're at, and it brings in a investigator who is played by your average, no moral flexibility, straight man antagonist that goes against your anti-hero, the guy that is so honor bound and doesn't break any of the rules, your classic, Scotland Yard type straight man. So he comes against Cillian Murphy, and you do have that familiar narrative of, how far will this so-called honorable man go and bend his rules to defeat the Shelbys, in this case, the Peaky Blinders. Or, well, the Peaky Blinders go. How far can they really justify the theft and murder and all this just for the betterment of their lives, that they feel like they came back to nothing? And like I said, you see different characters deal with this in different ways. And it's really interesting. You have a lot of social, economic issues of the time, and, class was a big issue at this time. There's the haves and just really the have-nots, even worse than today. But I really enjoyed it. But the episodes can feel like maybe 1 or 2 episodes are put into one. But again, it's only 6 episodes. I mean, The Defenders was 12? So it's an excellent, excellent show. I cannot recommend it enough. If you like Sons of Anarchy, if you like Boardwalk Empire, if you liked Breaking Bad, if you like Game of Thrones, you'll probably like this, even though there's definitely no fantasy or medieval aspects to it, but it's a good story. So if you appreciate a good story, you'll like this. And like I said, I just can't recommend it enough. So hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe and check out my videos. Thank you for everybody that's been subscribing lately. We got a little bit of boost in subs, so I appreciate that. Let's keep it going. And if you want to see anything, just leave a message in the comments below. And I'm Justin Thomas. I will see you guys soon.
So small, watch the clock ticking off the wall, but tonight I'm letting it go. Spend my coin for sure. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I just wanna feel alive. It's just what I do when I'm out, so